Attachment styles affect communication most when something feels emotionally risky. Under the surface, the same sentence can sound like rejection, pressure, criticism, or safety depending on the listener's attachment pattern. A realistic case is we need to talk, making one person anxious and another defensive before the conversation begins. So the useful takeaway is that communication is filtered through safety expectations. Anxious communication often seeks closeness quickly. The practical engine is simple. The person may ask repeated questions, need fast replies, or push for immediate reassurance. One ordinary version is after a short disagreement, they may text paragraphs trying to restore connection. The result is that the message underneath is usually fear of disconnection. Avoidant communication often reduces emotional intensity. Mechanically, the person may become brief, logical, delayed, or silent when feelings rise. Think of answering a vulnerable question with, "I do not know," because deeper words feel exposing. That is why distance is used to regain inner control. Secure communication stays connected while being honest. The process works because a secure person can say what hurts, ask what they need, and listen without making every conflict a threat. Picture, "I felt ignored last night, but I want to understand what happened." The practical lesson is that the relationship remains bigger than the problem. Fearful avoidant communication can change quickly. The hidden lever is that the person may reveal a lot, then regret it and retreat. This shows up when sharing a painful memory at night and acting cold the next morning. The viewer should remember that vulnerability can trigger both longing and alarm. Texting makes attachment patterns louder. The moving part is this: lack of tone, timing uncertainty, and read receipts create room for anxious stories and avoidant pressure. You can see it when a 2-hour reply delay becoming proof of rejection for one person and normal busyness for another. Once you see that, digital communication adds ambiguity. Conflict timing is a common mismatch. What changes the outcome is that one partner wants to resolve immediately to feel safe, while the other needs time to calm down. For example, arguing at midnight because one person cannot sleep unresolved and the other is exhausted. That small detail changes the decision because timing needs negotiation, not moral judgment. Protest behavior is communication through pressure. In real life, instead of asking directly, a person may withdraw, threaten, test, criticize, or exaggerate to get reassurance. A simple example is saying, "Maybe we should break up," when the real need is, "Please show me I matter." This matters because indirect fear-based communication damages trust. Shutdown is communication through absence. Under the surface, silence, changing the subject, leaving the room, or becoming numb can be attempts to avoid overwhelm. A realistic case is a partner staring at the floor during conflict because their body has gone into freeze mode. So the useful takeaway is that absence still sends a message, even when no words are spoken. Attachment-aware communication starts by naming the process. The practical engine is simple. Partners can say what is happening inside before arguing about the content. One ordinary version is, "I am getting scared and wanting to push. I need a slower conversation." The result is that process language reduces blame. Clear agreements help both styles. Mechanically, anxious partners need reliability, avoidant partners need respectful space, and both need follow-through. Think of agreeing that conflict breaks can happen, but the person taking space will return at a specific time. That is why structure can protect connection and autonomy together. Tone can matter more than vocabulary. The process works because a technically correct sentence can still feel threatening if delivered with contempt, sarcasm, or coldness. Picture, "I am fine," said with icy distance, creating more alarm than an honest explanation. The practical lesson is that emotional signal and words must match. Questions can either invite or interrogate. The hidden lever is that anxious fear may turn questions into cross-examination, while secure curiosity leaves space for truth. This shows up when "where were you" becoming an accusation instead of a genuine request for context. The viewer should remember that intent changes how the other person receives the question. Avoidant partners may need help translating space. The moving part is this: space without explanation can feel like rejection to the other person. You can see it when saying, "I care about you and need 30 minutes to think," is different from disappearing. Once you see that, explained space is less frightening than silent withdrawal. Anxious partners may need help translating urgency. What changes the outcome is that urgent requests can feel controlling when the fear behind them is not named. For example, "I need reassurance tonight because I am spiraling, not because you did something wrong." That small detail changes the decision because naming fear reduces pressure on the partner. Repair phrases are communication tools. In real life, "I see why that hurt," "I am still here," "I need a pause," and "can we try again" can change the direction. A simple example is a fight cooling when one partner says, "I got defensive, but I do want to understand." This matters because repair language interrupts escalation. The healthiest communication style is not endless talking. Under the surface, it is timely, honest, respectful, and connected to action. A realistic case is a couple discussing jealousy, agreeing on clearer plans, and then actually following through. So the useful takeaway is that communication builds trust only when behavior supports it. Attachment styles affect communication because people speak from their safety strategies. The practical engine is simple. One reaches, one retreats, one steadies, and one may do both. One ordinary version is the same conflict becoming a chase, a shutdown, or a repair depending on the pattern. The result is that better communication begins when partners hear the need beneath the strategy. Attachment styles affect communication most when the conversation carries emotional risk. A simple question like are we okay? Can feel like a request for closeness, a threat of conflict, or an invitation to repair depending on the persona/'s pattern. The words matter, but the nervous system decides how dangerous those words feel. An anxious communicator may use repeated questions, long explanations, or emotional urgency to reduce uncertainty. They may not be trying to overwhelm the other person. They may be trying to restore safety quickly. But the speed and intensity can make the other person feel pressured, which then creates the distance the anxious person feared. An avoidant communicator may become brief, logical, delayed, or silent when emotion rises. They may not be trying to punish anyone. They may be trying to stay regulated by lowering intensity. But silence can feel like abandonment to the other person. The same strategy that protects one partner can frighten the other. Healthier communication begins when both people name the process, not just the content. Instead of arguing only about the issue, they can say, always speed up when I feel scared. Always shut down when I feel overwhelmed. That turns communication from a battle into a repair plan. Attachment-aware communication is not perfect wording. It is safer pacing. A practical repair sentence can be powerful. I'm not trying to attack you. I am trying to understand what happens between us. That sentence slows the threat response. It reminds both people that the communication pattern is the shared problem. When partners can talk about the pattern without shaming each other, attachment differences become easier to work with.